back to the Anglers RX podcast. Tonight, we're joined by the Yak-A-Bass TOC first place and third place winner. And you kind of see Joey, and you notice Johnny's here. So there's only one of those two that got first and third place. So congratulations, you guys. Damien ended up in second, and right behind John at third place was Reed Frazier, and in fifth place was Ryan Kohler. Must be a new guy. I've not met him or heard his name. Year. Is it good? Well, congratulations to him. That's awesome.
Yeah, great.
So, anyways, they're gonna kind of break down how their day went and what kind of suspense the day brought. But first off, we had an event about 2 weekends ago up at Lake Don Pedro with the Headwaters Fish and Chill event. And I want to thank the guys that came out and joined me and just kind of hung out for the day. We fished from, I don't know, well, it was a little early when we arrived. I mean, kind of got a little shit. We showed up at about 6 a.m. and it was still dark. We just kind of hung out at the ramp for a little while. But James Snyder came out. It was great to see him, get out of the house a little bit and enjoying himself. And Mitch Keel, Scott Carver, and David Nunes, and James Robertson came all the way down from Yuba City and stayed at my place. And
nice.
It was a super nice event. I already explained to these two prior to this, but the day of fishing was more numbers. It wasn't really a size game. I think I had like 9.3 pounds at the end of the day on the Bubba scale. A lot of surface chasers, a lot of small bass, but the bigger ones were deeper in 30 to 60 feet. Caught them on jigs, and then it wasn't until about the last hour heading back to the ramp I found a mega school. It was probably, and at first it was like 100 to 150, but then it just, the whole screen, the whole live scope was just full of fish. And we caught them on A-rigs and jig and spoons and jig, drop shot. But then they kind of stopped firing up. So, but anyways, it was a great day. We are planning on the next one probably mid-November to later November. We'll just kind of see with the holiday, Thanksgiving. I got to look at a date, but I'm hoping to have a date by this weekend, and we're planning to go to Lake Berryessa. So we really would love for, any of you guys to come out, join us. I mean, it's a free event. It's no money, no prizes. Just, bring something that you want to share food-wise, something cold, maybe if we get enough people, we'll look at doing some hot dogs or something after the day of fishing, and maybe some soup. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure something out. I know it's going to be a little colder in November, but we're looking at Lake Berryessa, and I should have that date probably by this weekend. So I just want to make sure we all got kind of everything in line. So outside of that, guys, Headwaters is going to be closing down their Reading store, hopefully only for fall and winter. It's kind of a slow time of the year, and we are hoping that by springtime, maybe we can find a smaller shop up there. But right now we're going to be focusing more on Rancho Cordova. So they're going to be bringing most of their inventory down to that location. It's a little bit more centrally located for, most of us. But more news to come with that. We're going to be doing some fishing seminars, kayak seminars up there. So just stay tuned. I'll be trying to connect with Brian and getting some dates on the calendar for that. And outside of that, guys, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I mean, I kind of was watching the board as I could. on Saturday. I was at work, and I'd look and see, and of course, I saw Johnny and I saw Sean Latham, and I was like, oh man, I don't know. I saw a post probably it was 3 hours. So it was about 3:00. I saw a post, and you know how Facebook, they kind of, obviously the results are offline at that point. And so I saw a post that they posted, and Johnny, you were in first, man. You were ahead, Sean Latham by about, was it like 2 inches, 3 inches? I think you had a considerable lead at that point. And I remember commenting, "Way to go, Johnny! Sean, you don't know what's going to happen. Keep your head up or whatever." And I think it wasn't until Sunday I was talking. I didn't get a chance to see results later in the day, and I was talking to Mitch on the water on Sunday. I was like, "Man, I think John won the event." And he's like, "No, he didn't win it. He got third." Joey and Damien, came in with a last minute clutch of posting their fish. And so anyways, I was like, well, we're going to have Johnny on this week too. So that's good to see that you were on a comeback there, Johnny. So that's awesome, man. So let's kind of start out. TOC was originally scheduled for TOC. Right.
Yep.
And obviously, it's a little hard to pull permits right now. I'm guessing that's what it was. Yeah. So they made a last minute change for Pedro. So when that happened, what was both of your mindsets? Johnny, I know you love Pedro, so I know that kind of was a good thing. But what was your mindsets when that change happened?
I froze up. Oh, there it is.
Oh, go for it, John. Go for it.
Yeah, I froze up. But anyways, so I much rather go to Pedro than TOC because Don Pedro is 45 minutes. TOC's a good hour and a half. The bite's basically the same at TOC as it was at Don Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
Did some pre-fishing. Damien and I went up Thursday. We saw Joey and John. They launched about the same time we did. And anyways, 100 inches was kind of easy to get. I mean, the fishing was really good. I mean, you could catch them on top water. When you saw them in 5 feet of water, those fish would bite over the top of 50, 60, 70 feet of water. Basically throwing shad stuff. Pre-fishing. There was some cables. One cable had probably I don't know, from 5 feet down to 50 feet. There was a fish hugging this cable. And it was pretty cool because you would drop your bait down and all these fish would come down to your bait, right? And they would get real active and they would eat. It was pretty easy to catch them. Tournament day, that cable, the fish would follow it down and they'd go, woo. They went to the bait, So I knew then that, things changed a whole bunch. There was no bait in the area, which was surprising. Anyways, I would drop it down to 50, 60 feet of water. Caught a few on the spoon, on the dice, on a Kitech, and then obviously the minnow. Mm-hmm. I was throwing the 4-inch wing fluke and the mooch minnow. Mm-hmm. And I would alternate these baits. And I think the key was when you saw the fish pull off the cable, the fish that were the biggest were in 50 feet of water. And as the cable went up, the fish got smaller and smaller and smaller. And the reason why I say that is I was working these fish out in like 50 feet of water, and I see this fish dart from about 5 feet swam all the way down to my lure and just chewed it. And it was like a 16-inch fish. And I was like, wow, okay, that was cool. And then, I kept trying to catch these deeper fish. They would bite, but after a while, they got really smart and
Yeah.
they just wouldn't touch your bait. And so I went around looking for bait fish, and I just couldn't find any bait fish. If you found bait fish by these cables, it was every drop, and they were good fish. And so I went offshore, and anywhere from 60 to 40 feet, and I would see the fish cruising on the bottom.
Yeah.
They were moving pretty fast on the bottom. I'd throw them out, and I would let the bait drop down until the fish would come up to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd stop it and give it a little shake, And then as they come up closer to it, I'd start reeling in a little bit. Then I'd reel in fast, and the fish, Thursday they would eat it. On Saturday they'd go back to the bottom, and did that a couple of times. And finally, when they went to the bottom, I opened the bell up, I let it hit the bottom, and I shook it on the bottom, and I caught a spotted bass that was like between 3.5 to 3 3/4 pounds.
Nice.
And I thought, okay, that's how they want it. You catch a big fish like that, it's like, that's a big key.
It's a big key.
I would see the fish cruising again. If you didn't see the fish cruising, you wouldn't get bit. You had to like move around until you saw them crawling on the bottom, and I'd throw it out to them. I'd let it hit. They would do the same thing as it came down on the bottom. They would come up to it, and I'd dead stick it. I'd shake it. I'd speed it up, and they would just go back to the bottom. So I'd open the bell up, hit the bottom, and I started shaking it, and dunk, and I was like, all right, this is pretty easy, just let it hit the bottom and barely move it on the bottom. And I culled 4 fish of my 5. I only kept one that I had caught along the cable, but I culled 4 fish doing that offshore.
Wow.
And when I mean offshore, I'm talking when people would go by, they look at you and like, what's that guy doing way out there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're off a long tapering point out in that 40 to 60 feet area.
Yeah, there was a couple points that was tapering, and anyways, I thought, well, run to the dam because I know there's always big fish at the dam, or do I run into a Rogers? So I look at my clock and I was thinking, something, I'm catching fish, don't leave them. You know what I mean? Sure. And I just kind of went back and forth to these few areas, and there was some rock, and the rock in one area was probably in like 40 feet of water, and I had caught several fish off of it. Didn't help, but it felt good to catch a bunch of fish, and I didn't look at the leaderboard much, but I knew I was catching them good, and I started catching the better ones. I never caught a 20. On Thursday, I did catch a couple nice ones, big old head, long skinny body. Should have been a 6-pounder. Yeah. It was a 4-pounder. You know what I mean? but yeah, it was, it was fun. I almost, the cost anymore on some of these tournaments is pretty expensive, and I almost punted. And I figured, I knew I found fish. I knew what to do to catch fish, and I'm not saying I can't afford it. I could afford it, but I was like, it was weird, even like Clear Lake, I was the same way. I was like, man, should I, spend all this money? It's like, I have fun fishing. It's just a hobby, and spend a little money and, enjoy yourself, I could see someone getting into it, and if you're paying $100 a young family, that could hurt you.
Yeah. Well, we definitely could go down a rabbit hole if you guys want to. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I'm in the same predicament. I had to go out. Um, I had to get a new truck, because my two kids, my twins are, one's got her license. The other one, he plays so much sports that he just got his permit, but they're driving. And I mean, if two kids right off the bat with insurance rates, I mean, are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's going to be, so, I'm at that point in my life where that's more important now. I've got to, take care of that first. And, my fishing tournament side is kind
it
of
will always be there. Your
Yeah.
kids will grow up and move out of the house. Fishing
Yeah.
will always be there.
But, again, it is one of those things, the dates. And I think where this fish and chill kind of came up is, it is nice to get together and just go out and fish. If, a lot of times we're in a tournament, we're practicing or whatever. It's like, dude, like, don't get any closer. Don't get close. I don't want to talk right now. I just want to fish. You're so focused. And, the fish and chill is kind of bringing it back to the days where what it used to be when we first started, just everyone show up and go fish together and, no stress, and hopefully new people will come out. But you're right. The tournament, either it be long travel. I mean, Joey, you to come up here to Pedro, it's a 4-hour drive, you said, that's a drive. I mean, unless you got someone to stay at someone's house or whatever, but then you still, after you're done, you got to drive 4 hours home.
Those last hour, 90 minutes are tough too.
It's, it's almost like, we're getting to a point where, I don't know, I hate to say this, but like almost like a northern region and a southern central region, just
so driving. You don't have to travel as much, huh?
Yeah. And then you take those two regions, and then you make the TOC off of that. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool, actually.
It just would take away the burden of all that travel. And I'm just speaking of my experience.
A lot of it's California too. You get a Folsom, you're paying $40 to put a plastic boat in the water.
Yeah, Pedro's $35.
Yeah,
35 at Pedro just to go fish. James just got here. Shop cook. That's awesome, James. Hopefully the fish and chills catch on again, because I'm burnt out of running tournaments. Yeah, I mean, poor James. I mean, he puts up a lot. That's a lot of time, effort. I've been a tournament director before. I mean, it's a lot of shit to deal with. And it's I don't know. I just would like to see,
I got to say something too. So since not January, I think February, I've literally fished the kayak tournament every weekend.
Yeah.
Since then. And then I had a little break, which was like a 3-week break. And then now I have 3 tournaments in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to have a little break. So, even the angler part you get burned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to fish them all, but then, it's like, well, there's so many of them to fish, then, which ones do you focus on, and then to top it off, again, for me, the money doesn't really matter much. But the amount of traveling I do on my vehicle, I could say every year I put probably close to 10,000 miles on my truck.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. Just driving.
John,
around.
I don't commute for work. I put 25,000 miles on my truck every year.
Yeah. Fishing.
I work from home. It's all
Yeah.
fishing tournaments.
Yeah. So
When I bought my
maybe it's a little more than that for me.
when I bought my F-150, I think I had 25,000 miles, or maybe it was 28,000 miles on it, and I bought that back about 5 years ago, and I'm already at 109,000 miles on it.
Mhm.
You know, and I mean, it's just from all the driving, and it's not all tournaments, obviously. I mean, I only work,
Yeah,
15 minutes from the house.
you're-
It's only like 11 miles, but
Your
you know,
kids, you bring them to all their sports.
all the
events.
sporting events
Yeah.
and things like that. So,
Mhm.
you got to add and factor that in. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of wear and tear on a vehicle, over a course of a year. And so, I
You
don't
gotta
know.
love it.
I
Kayak game, you gotta love it. Like,
Oh,
Well, and
not
that's
just
it.
not just love it, but like I love it, and I get burnt out the last 2-3 months of the season. It's just part
Right.
of it. Then you reset, and you can't wait to fish in February or March.
Mhm.
But that's kind of the cyclical thing about it. But it is a losing game. Even if you win money, it's a losing game.
It is. It is.
It's a hobby, and you have
Well,
fun at it. That's
You
the way
don't
you gotta look.
factor in. I mean, again, we can go down this rabbit hole on and on and on. But you guys won some money this weekend, obviously. So, but you don't factor in, other than your gas and all, but all the money you spend throughout the year on baits. I mean, if you really sat down, no matter how good you are as a tournament angler or not, you're still in a loss by the end of the year. Because you don't factor in, I mean, unless you're super OCD, you're not factoring in the line. You're not factoring in like even down to, I have a Legend Elite St. Croix rod that all of a sudden the other day, the freaking tip eye, the little eye inside came off. So, you don't factor in those little things. I mean, now I got to send that in and get it repaired, so.
I write all that off, every bit of it.
Yeah.
All the gas I put in the kayak. Oh wait a minute, I don't put gas in the kayak. No, no, all the tackle, entry fees, fish, everything. You just gotta write it off.
I did
if
it
you
for the
don't,
first time last year.
yeah,
I was
Yeah,
asking
if you-
John questions. It's eye
yeah,
opening.
yeah. If you don't, let's just say you have a dollar profit, the government gets 49 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And you get 51.
Yeah.
So you want to break even. And if you could, and that's basically what I do. I have my CPA do it, but at first I wrote off like $90,000. I probably shouldn't say this on.
I was going to say this.
Yeah, probably not, man.
Be careful.
So I wrote off quite a bit of money. They wrote it off for me. Right? Yeah, probably shouldn't. They wrote it off for me and said, okay, they changed the rules. Okay, now you can't have a loss. You just break even. I go, okay, that's fine. It's a hobby. I have fun at it. I'm not as agile as I was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Since I had that issue, things have changed with me. I struggle getting in and out of the kayak,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, I need to go and do a self-rescue again just to make sure I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I practiced the self-rescue, but now I can't say I'm as fit.
Sure.
But, under the circumstance, I know how to get back in it, and I think everybody should practice that. And two, with some people's kayaks, I see the way they're set up. There's really no way to get back in the kayak unless you climb over the front
Mm-hmm.
or the back where the motor's at. And then you have to flip the kayak over too. So, I have actually a rope on one side, and I grab that rope, and that's what I use to flip the kayak over. And then I have to go on the opposite side and kick and pull myself into the kayak. And I have one little area between the H rail and the front where I get into the kayak with.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that with the XTR.
Like I said, Yeah, yeah, the XTR should be easy because there's a lot more, there's no H rail and there's more room for you to get in,
I just don't.
you know.
I just don't go
But
across the lake if I stay right next to the shore anywhere I go. So if I do flip, I just go to the shore.
well,
I'm
way
just
out
joking.
there.
I'm just
yeah,
joking.
well, if the wind's blowing you out in the
I'm
middle of
just
the lake,
I'm just
you're,
joking. I'm just joking.
you're
So
yeah. The main thing is
that's probably why I don't win
if you're
tournaments.
able to, if, if you're able to practice it, and then that's this worst case scenario, you didn't practice it. Just think about your loved ones, and you want to go home.
Well, and again,
Try your
yeah.
best.
I mean, it's whatever
What, you mean try
gear,
to
whatever
swim?
your gear, whatever gear you lose is
Yeah.
not worth your life. So let
No,
throw the
you
gear
can
out of the
always-
freaking kayak, get rid of it, and
Yeah.
just save yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most important, and that's always been a topic
Yeah.
lately in the news. People losing their life because they're not wearing a life jacket, and again, you're never ever going to know the situation. It's an unfortunate situation. So, but yeah,
in some rough water, and it's scary out there at times.
it definitely is.
Excuse me.
It definitely is. So Joey, you
know,
took home.
one more thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. So I just wanted to say that fishing Saturday was extremely fun. I always kind of put stress on myself, and I just told myself, go out and have fun, enjoy your day, and try to put all the fish to bite in the boat. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you basically done the bit. Now, the days when I start putting pressure on myself, I just start spinning out and I start fishing faster, making bad decisions, but the biggest key is just go out and have fun, and things will
Yeah.
happen when they happen, you know.
Yeah, I was fishing stressed out. I'll be honest with you. Saturday I was so Thursday, Friday it was like John said, it was 100-inch days. I mean, the bait fish was corralled up and the fish were crashing on them. So for me in practice on Thursday and Friday, I was like, okay, well, let me find those bigger fish schools since there are schools running around the lake. And once every like 3-4 hours, you'd come across like an 18-9-inch largemouth school. And everything else is like 15-16-inch, spotted schools. So I'm like, okay, tournament day, I'm on the motor and I'm scanning until I find a bigger school, and then I'm going to stay on them. Tournament day comes around, and right off the bat, I found a good school in the first half hour, and I pulled a 21.5 off the suspended school off this rock. And with spotted bass lakes, in my head, I'm always like, you got to have a kicker. But on those lakes, it's really hard to find a kicker.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's just something that like I feel is true. So I'm like, okay, I can win this now. Like I've got my kicker. I just need to fill out the rest of this limit. So I throw back onto this rock where the school suspended, and my rod loads up again, and it's just like giant head bobs, just like Sakamata shad, and it was like 50 feet down, and it's just bobbing. Big one comes off, and I'm like, oh man, that might have been it. The second one that could have sealed it for the tournament. And I'm like, okay, let's just focus. Threw back in there. After a few casts, I pulled a 19 and almost 20 out of it. So 2 great fish to start the day. And then I ran around like crazy around that whole lake for the rest of the day, looking for schools. And there were schools, but they were either inactive and the bait balls just were not corralled up. And then when you threw down to them, they would come up and then ignore you. Whereas in practice, they'd come up and they'd be climbing over each other to get your bait. It was apparent the mood completely changed. Yeah. So I spent pretty much all day scanning around the lake, could not find that big class, almost gave up to the very end. In the last 45 minutes, I made a run to the dam where I found an 18 to 20 class largemouth school. And I pulled, I think, a 19.7, 19.5, an 18, and an 18 out of it in the last 40 minutes. And they were hard. They were 55 feet down, and they wanted like, before I was using that 3/4 ounce jig head to like get down to them, rip it away from them, and just make them fight over it. And by the end of the day, they were so shut off that I had to use a really light jig head and a really small Sakamata shad and various other small 3-inch minnows, and really like try to time them and lead them, wait for it to fall down, and just they would look at it for like 20 seconds, all 30 of them, and the rod would load up. And over that 40 minutes, I pulled out 3, which gave me enough to win by an inch, I think. But yeah, most of the day it was not catching fish. It was scanning, finding a school, getting rejected, and just that over and over for 7 hours until the last 45 minutes. So that was my day. But it was that last 40 minutes was like, we got to close this thing out. And I was really competing for the win for this one, because there was a chance at cinching AOI. Isaiah West was leading going into this tournament, and 2 things had to happen for me to clinch AOI. It was a first place, and then he had to fall outside the top 10. So I went into this being like, you're finding that 1920 class school, and that's the only way you're making this happen. So yeah, I was running around stressed out, and I finally found them in that last 40 minutes. I'm like, okay, time to close it out. And was able to do it with just 3 fish. It's all that they would give me out of that 30 fish school. And when I got off the water, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anyone my limit. I didn't want to know what the limits were because of what was on the line. And so I sat there in the bleachers and waited for the announcement. They announced the win, and then they announced that Isaiah West finished 8th, and he won AOI. So props to him. He's been on a freaking roll this year.
Yeah.
It feels good to know that I did all I can do in that last event to make a run at it.
Yeah, Isaiah really he really went after it this year. That's it's pretty awesome for him too, because he's kind of been kind of back shadows the last couple of years, and then like you said, this year he decided to really focus on it, and good for him. You get pretty excited to see people achieve goals. So
yeah. So I got to ask about the dam. So were these fish, like you say they're in 50 feet of water, were they suspended over 100 feet of water, or were they like 60 feet of water, or 50 feet, then they come up to your bait? Or
they were in 55 feet of water. It was one school roaming, and then they were just going back and forth on the dam, really slow, just lumbering down 55 feet. And every now and then they would dip down to 85, and I knew it because I kept having to press the down button on my sonar to drop the level. And I'm like, I kept having to press it because they go down, 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 and they go to 85, and they try to like come up over here. And I think they do that because they want to surprise like a school if one's around, because I've seen that behavior before.
Right. And some bait,
but they were not coming up for anything. That bait had to get right into the middle of them, and then they might bite it, but they never came up for it.
Was there bait around there?
No bait. Nope.
What's up, Moo Moo?
Hey, what's up, Moo Moo? Good to see you on here, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Moo Moo's a great guy.
He is. He's all ocean and kokanee now, so that's awesome.
Yeah. So there was no bait in the area?
No bait.
Or there was?
Nope. No, it was just that.
It was weird.
It was just that one Thursday big school roaming around. There was the whole area was devoid of schools. It was devoid of bait, and it was just that one lumbering large fish school.
Right. It's crazy. Thursday, when you got around
that's
bait,
pretty cool. I didn't know that.
You just
he's one of the originals. Yeah, Isaiah's been there since almost day one, so that's pretty awesome. So
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Thursday there was a lot of bait. Saturday, I found like 1 or 2 little tiny patches that were in like less than 5 feet of water. And I'd throw some topwater over them, thinking, they're something might come up and eat it. You know what I mean? But nah, nothing.
So were these?
Well, that's how John Ellis actually caught big fish. Was I think he said 3:00. He threw either a walking bait or a whopper plopper over a point, and a 22.5 just came up and crushed it.
Yeah, 22 and a half.
It was the only one topwater fish he had though.
So were these bait fish that you were finding, were they out off local, like the main points or main lake, or were you finding them up in the back, being corralled back up in the arms?
They were
Or
the ones I
cuts.
found
main
were
main body.
main body of water, and then there's also that
Yeah,
second
main
main
body.
body
Mhm.
in back. They were in that one circling around too, but they were out in the
Yeah, not in
open.
not in the back of a creek, but in a main body cut,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Kind of like,
Yeah.
is that right, Joey?
Yeah, like I don't even know what you call that. When you look at Pedro, like if you look directly from Fleming, there's like that second large body of water
Uh-huh.
behind the
Right.
islands, which the islands are outside the water right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like a hard sandy bottom. There's really no there. I mean, there's a few rock piles, but otherwise there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's just open water.
Just open water. Yeah.
Yeah, we were up at McClure Sunday and we couldn't really find much on the main lake. You know, it was dead calm glass water. I mean, it wasn't much wind or anything, but we actually stumbled on them in the back of some cuts and arms, and they were kind of corralling them out in the middle. So if you did find them, you would catch them. I mean, obviously, but a lot of it were small fish. There weren't no.
I did see there's a ton of bait and fish in the very, very backs of creeks,
Mm-hmm.
but they were usually like 14, 15 inches. But it was loaded back there. I think you could
Yeah.
have a heyday.
Yeah. So, I mean, we did. I mean, we caught 35 fish each, I think, at least on Sunday. I mean, it was a great day of fishing. Just,
Yeah.
one-
During practice, when you pulled them up, they were spitting shad, like just
Mhm.
spitting carcasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had them spitting crawdads on me on Saturday.
I mean, I can see that. I mean,
You're down there then.
you
The 55
Yeah, I was-
footers, they're spitting crawdads or shallow water?
Oh, yeah. No, that was deep water.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah,
they
the
went that
spotted
deep.
bass, big crawdads. I tried to pull one out to see the color of it. I was going to put that color jig on, but it swallowed it. It sucked it in the crushers, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna.
So, Joey,
But
was
yeah.
it? Oh, go ahead, Johnny. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, a few of my fish spit up bait, but not many. They'd spit it up before they get out of the water, but
Yeah, I had shad on the deck of my boat.
yeah.
That's a good
Yeah,
day
so
when
did
that
Damien.
happens.
Yeah, they're not
So-
shy when that happens.
So, Joey, you pretty much caught your limit on strolling, right?
Strolling, yeah. Different though. Like in the morning, it was that 3/4 ounce head. It's a big
Yeah.
old tungsten jig head.
Big old tungsten
just-
jig head, huh?
Throwing it down to them, they come up and you just rip it as fast as you can, and they almost catch it, and you rip it again. You try to keep it away from them until they get motivated enough to really grab it.
Just fire them up.
Yep. And then later in the day, it was like as slow as possible.
Yeah.
Like jig head.
Interesting. It's interesting how these fish kind of turn on and off in snap of finger,
Yep. They can only feed for so
you
long
know-
before they're all full, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, they got to burn off their metabolism a little bit and what's in their gut. So I've caught fish though where they've had a crawdad in their gullet, claw sticking out and shad in their mouth at the same time. I've seen
And
it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. You know what kind of cracked me up was the cables. How many fish were on the cables? And when you scan the cable, right, you would see the cable, but there was on mine, I would see little red dots. And it would be all the way to like 5 feet of water. And I was like, that's not like the cable I just passed. And then I cast to it, and then all these fish would come off the cable,
Yeah.
So, that was kind of cool to see that. But
yeah, it's crazy when you're around those cables and you're seeing on your scope, like you see one or two fish, but then when you throw it out there, all of a sudden off the cable, there's like a ton of fish just come off the. You're like,
so it was
the
amazing.
hell! I didn't
Yeah.
even see that. You
I
can't
did
even
see
see 'em.
one. There's one cable for me where there's a large fish at the bottom, but then there's a couple smaller ones towards the top. And I'm like, I don't even know how to get my bait past the small ones to get it to the one way down there. And sure enough, the small ones were hitting it. And I never caught that big one down there, but yeah, they were there.
Yeah. And then too, have you noticed when the cable goes down, then it splits apart?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
splits.
along the cables, there's like some kind of metal object, like every few feet, so it looks like a fish.
Like a
The horizontal,
clamp.
yeah,
Yeah.
the horizontal
Yeah.
ones. So it's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, you have to know
Right.
what's the pattern to know. Okay, that's a
Right.
clamp.
And you know, one other thing too I noticed was, so as I was going down the lake and I was scanning, I'd see fish in like 5 feet of water. And the first couple I just kind of ignored, figured, oh, they're trout, you know. And then I stopped and I was watching them. I go, that's not how trout run. You know, trout are kind of erratic. I'll make a cast to them. Dude, as soon as it hit the water, I had one on. It was like a 4-pound largemouth. And I thought, oh, okay, cool, you know. And then, you know, during the tournament day, I was looking for that a whole bunch because that seemed to be the better quality fish, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I did catch one that I saw in about 5 feet of water. It was a loner. And I reeled up, you know, I was down in 50 feet of water. I was reeling up real fast. And it went down before my bait got like, you know, close to him. He went down and ate it. I mean, he didn't mess around, you know. He saw it coming, you know. So that was cool, you know.
Yeah,
But
you know, it's a
usually,
good day
you
when
know,
you
you
can
gotta
just like work something super weird
Yeah.
and they eat it. It's just like, okay, well,
Yeah,
can't
that's
do
what I
wrong
told
today.
myself when I caught that fish. I was like, "Oh, today's gonna be a good day," because I caught that fish and I probably shouldn't have, but I did. You know.
Well, at this
Yeah,
point, I know if we gave Joey a pack of baby carrots and a tungsten jig head, he'd probably win a tournament on that.
Paint half the carrot black with a Sharpie
Yeah.
and then get it to roll.
Yeah, I think it would be fine. Oh, we just lost him.
You could probably just kind of notch it too, you know, with the carrot slicer at
Yeah.
the end of it.
Yeah.
And make it so
Just make it so
it
little.
wiggles. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it was a fun pre-fish, and it was a fun tournament. You know, it wasn't super stressful like most tournaments can be.
Sure.
You know.
Well,
Yeah.
it would have been nice though if you guys came in with the confidence of Thursday and coming in on Saturday and it being the same way. I would have loved to see what the bags would have been, you know. But that's just how these lakes are, man. You know, I think there was and I can't even remember day by day anymore. Like, well, the weather was nice and sunny on Thursday when you guys
Saturday.
and
No, it was super cold early.
Yeah.
And it warmed up a little bit, then it got super cold again.
Yeah.
Well, Saturday, it started
I'm not
off
sure what
warm,
happened.
and it got hotter. So I mean, there was, you know, temperature change, but you know, a fish in 50 feet of water, they're not going to say, "Oh, it's too hot" or "It's too cold." I mean,
Yeah. Well,
it's not going to
the
change.
water's kind of at that perfect temperature right now, anyways. You know, 70-degree water temp.
Barometric pressure might have changed some.
Yeah.
To make them a little pissed off at you or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
it's so
I'm
much
trying
warmer
to-
than the air temp. The air temp was like 55, like Thursday, Friday,
Right.
and the water temp.
Yeah. I
was 70.
mean, for the Fish and Chill event, you know, we showed up. Shoot, I had to wear a sweatshirt. I had to wear a sweatshirt all day. It was pretty cold most of the day. But then, you know, come out on this last Sunday and I was like, had a sweatshirt on. I had it off in like less than an hour of fishing. I was sweating.
Oh yeah.
You know, so, but there's a little bit, I'm going out tomorrow. I'm trying to get out. Depends on if I can get my ass in gear after I get off the podcast. I broke my battery terminal on my battery the other day.
Man.
I was putting it into kayak and somehow the little ring terminal snapped in half. I don't know how it happened, but anyways, I ended up pedaling to 7 or so miles, which was good. It was good exercise. But I'm going tomorrow, and apparently it's supposed to be possible rain tomorrow. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how the day pans out.
Get the prefrontal conditions could be pretty good.
Yeah, real good.
Yeah. So, but outside of that, what do you guys? I think the season is pretty much over, isn't it? For everything.
There's
Central
there's the
Valley.
Yamamoto.
Well, yeah, there's
Clearly.
Yep. Yeah, I
I'll
know.
be there.
That's
Forgot
this
to.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. I think more guys should show up if they can.
The
It's gonna
rain's
be fun
cleared. I know the
event,
forecast
either
was
way.
saying an inch or so of rain, but it's since it looks better now.
Yeah, it's going to be cloudy, so that's
Huh.
which I'd rather have cloudy than rain.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long
And
as
up
the
there
wind,
too,
as long as the wind's not bad.
up there, it might say no rain, but you might get a little shower here and there.
Yeah.
It just depends on how those clouds are, and they smash up against the hills. Sometimes it does rain, but it does. It said no rain, which is good. It said a quarter inch at one time. And,
I think it went
I
up
was
to an
thinking,
inch at one
well,
point. So at least
did it
yeah.
go up to an inch? Yeah. So
Yeah, I think we should be able to
an inch of
enjoy a little
rain's
bit of
not bad.
autumn and fall before we start hitting some of these torrential downpours. It would be nice, So, so when are you guys leaving to go to Yamamoto tournament?
Thursday, I'm leaving.
I live about 40 minutes out, so I'll probably shoot up there after work.
What?
Yeah, do a little practice Thursday maybe, and then leave Friday alone, and then I'll go Saturday.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got that 5-hour drive.
Oh man, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
The drive home is I'm gonna drive, get through the hills, get on 5, pull up to the rest stop, and start snoring.
Yeah. Is
It depends.
Damien fishing it too?
No, he's not gonna
Yeah.
make it. Yeah, he said he's burned out on
I
tournaments.
think a
right
lot of
now.
guys
Yeah.
are. I'm not seeing a lot of Yak-A-Bass guys
Well,
in the Tourney X list, but
It's
a little
definitely
Yeah.
showing. I mean, on that event. I mean, hopefully they get the numbers up a little bit.
Either way, it's gonna be fun. If there's 10 guys or 20 guys,
Yeah.
still, it's still gonna be fun.
you're going to be
There's gonna be
competing
a
for
boat
spots,
tournament.
yeah, because they have 2 boat divisions, team tournaments, so you share water with those guys too.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah,
nice
and
thing
then
is
the duck hunter.
if you can find them, up in the creek arms, get up there more shallow and find them up there. That'd be nice. You'd be out of the boat area, But
Yeah, then you got to worry about the duck hunter.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, hey, my gun shoots further.
but outside of that, I think Central Valley Kayak has a TOC somewhere.
November the 1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
November the 1st.
Where's that at?
Eastman.
Eastman. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So,
NorCal Kayak Alliance has one at Clear Lake on the 1st as well.
Yeah.
okay.
I
So
think that's
pretty
it.
much, I mean, the season's over. I mean, there's a couple tournaments still
Mhm.
lingering, but for the most
And I
part,
think
it's
isn't Yak-A-Bass going to have their team tournament at the end of the year where they have to get together?
no. From the last, it was at Comanche, and obviously Comanche's closed down indefinitely that we know of. So I think they were trying to work something out possibly towards the Delta, but I don't think it's happening this year. So I think it makes it tough for the logistics of it. They like Comanche because they have that little hall that we can have warmed up food and things like that. So
Right.
it's a lot of work for James to be putting on a lot of this stuff. And, I know he's got a little bit of help, but, it makes
Still,
it tough.
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and that's the one thing, I'm not going to call anyone out or anything, obviously, but, there's a lot that goes into it, and bitching and griping and complaining, and, half these people don't even know what it takes to put on these events. They just think that they pull a permit, slap it on Tourney X, and you're good to go. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background.
Yeah.
So
I was a tournament director for Merced Bass Club a long time ago, and I did it for several years, and I gave it up. It was just,
yeah, I mean,
the permit part was easy.
yeah, it's not too
Believe it or
bad.
not, that was easy. The permit part was easy. It was just, getting people, not pissed off and people being boisterous about, how come he got this and I didn't, or
Well, I saw
it's
so and so fishing at the gas station of the marina, and you get all this stuff, and you got to deal with it, and it's a lot of work. So
yeah,
Not a lot of people who want to be tournament directors.
No,
I mean,
yeah,
it's a lot. So hats off to James, hats off to Bray, and Mark, for putting this on for the fishing community,
and Donovan,
I think Donovan
did an excellent job.
Yeah, he did. I think he's stepping back, and hopefully someone steps forward.
I think Rob Yamamoto is taking over as tournament director.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Oh, okay,
Mr. Yamamoto,
Mr. Drop Shot.
Mr. Yamamoto.
Yeah, Mr. Yamamoto. So
that circuit, I like that circuit. It's for me, the furthest one you go to is like 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to Eastman, you go to Pine Flat, Millerton, Kauai. They're kind of like McClure. Eastman's obviously not, but the Yak-A-Bass is like northern. They did have one at McClure, I think. Yeah, they did. Yeah, Joey won that one. But like you're saying, you almost need a north and a south, and that's kind of what that is. The more I talk with people, it's not wanting to go fish a tournament, but a lot of it is just having to deal with all the logistics, booking Airbnbs, or campsites, and the travel and everything. It's a lot of people. I think they're feeling a little bit of the strain lately, for some reason with it, and it could be just simply like you guys brought up. I mean, you get to a point where you're burned out. You fish,
yeah,
4 or 5 tournaments a month. Depending.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is just with the travel time. I think a lot of people are kind of in that want it to be more of a 2-day type tournament, which I'm excited, to see how James set up this year with the team event on a Saturday, and then Sunday is the,
if you're gone for
solo
one weekend a month.
I was talking to my wife the other night. I'm like, that just brings it back to the days I used to really enjoy going out and camping, and fishing 2 days, and team tournament day one. And then if you build on to something on team tournament, hopefully you can do it the same day on Sunday and compete, with the best. So I'm excited about that one. I really am. But I think the travel has a little to do with some of these lower numbers at the end of the season.
Another thing you could do too, and I always told the guys that did the boat tournaments, when you have a boat tournament at Don Pedro on the first week of the month, the second week of the month should be another circuit at Don Pedro, and then another circuit at Don Pedro. So now you go and, I'm just making, an example. So you go and you pre-fish that one lake, and you could fish the whole month there. And then the next month it's a different lake.
Mm-hmm.
So, to get a, like the West Coast Championship, you can have like at Don Pedro or even Berryessa, or any of these lakes, Pine Flat, if you group them both together, meaning you have the CVKF, you have the Yak-A-Bass, and maybe another circuit, if or BAM or whatever, and you have all three on the Saturday, right? It's going to be expensive, but the thing is, you're only traveling once a month.
Yeah.
and you're traveling to that lake one time,
Yeah.
instead of going, from, the Delta this weekend, the next weekend, you're going back to the Delta, then the following weekend, you're going back to the Delta, and then the next weekend, you're going to Clear Lake.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and as an example, so sometimes you actually are better off combining circuits, and then the angler doesn't have to get in all of them. You could pick two or just pick one, or and then make it two where $50 gets you in the tournament, and then you have that guy that wants to try it out spends that $50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what McClure was kind of like this year with the
Yeah.
Central
CVK.
Valley plus
CVK
Yak-A-Bass.
and yeah.
Yeah, and Yak-A-Bass. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get two birds in one stone. So I'm not saying, do it or nothing, but that's just, something that kind
I think
of
it's good to
beat
have
around
a
the
couple of
bush.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. And two, again, you don't have to fish both. You can fish one, so it's not like, and if you fish both, it doesn't matter if you fish this weekend Yak-A-Bass, next weekend CVKF. It's still going to cost you the same,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And then you have that much less travel.
travel and
if it's at a
fuel
different
expense,
lake,
that's
yeah,
another.
at a different lake, then you're, when do you pre-fish? You don't.
Yeah.
Until-
So
yeah.
like James is saying right here, he just popped up. See, permits would be the issue if we combined. We can no longer fish on each other's permits. If you pay out, you have to have your own permit, and they only allow so many permits per body of water per day. So,
Right.
they are, because if you look at some of the fishing, calendar for tournaments, because a lot of times I'll pull those up just to see if I'm going to go out fishing when there's a big tournament, and so I'll take a look at, they're pretty good with making sure there's only one tournament per body of water typically. It's pretty rare there's two.
You could have a yearly permit, an annual permit, and then an event permit. So they're two different permits. So, and that's how you could kind of get around it. Meaning, CVKF could be the yearly permit, and Yak-A-Bass could be the event permit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and two is what happens too is how many times have we been on the water when there's 2 or 3 boat tournaments going on? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, Clear Lake is, yeah.
Well, Clear Lake's a big, it's fish is small when there's so many boats, but it is a large lake.
Right.
And again, I'm enjoying the fact that James is going to make. I think this year's going to be a. If I correct, no, he is, but correct me if I'm wrong, James. Obviously, you're on. It's going to be a single launch, so everyone's going to take off from the same location. I like that too.
I like that too.
It adds to the ambience. It adds to the it's part of it. It's
camaraderie, the fellowship,
camaraderie.
It really adds to it. We can sit here and everyone's gonna be fishing on top of each other and stuff. But look, we all got motors nowadays, so someone's gonna travel 8 miles if they want to go find their fish.
You got that. Yeah.
It's not like the days where we were stuck with paddles and everyone was definitely fishing on top of each other. So, yep. So
Clear Lake, you just have to. There's no way.
Yeah, single launch expect for Clear Lake 2.
Except.
And there's 3 different type of permits. There are. I know one of 2. One is if you have X amount of anglers over. James knows this a lot more than I do. So, but I think there's one permit for a certain amount of anglers and under, and a certain amount and over. And then probably a yearly permit, what you're talking about, I guess.
Annual permit,
Yeah.
and then event permits.
Yeah. So, but, well, guys, we're coming up to our time, and I do want to thank you both for coming on. Johnny, congratulations. It was good to see you kind of
Thanks.
back on your high horse there for the day. So, Joey, congratulations. I mean, obviously,
Thanks, man.
You're kind of losing some wall space. I mean, it's kind of narrowing down there. So,
You're gonna need a bigger room.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're going to need a bigger room.
We got the
But,
Yak-A-Bass ones from last year on this wall.
yeah,
I did
well,
run out of room.
And
display them
James,
all you
thanks for all
want.
the-
You know, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, James, thanks for all the info.
Yeah, thank you, James, for being on. And we're going to have to get James on here probably in the off
Beer
season
sponsored
once he
by,
kind of decompresses a little bit.
Let's Jet.
Get him on, let him kind of go over the year coming up, maybe sometime in mid to late December, you know, January. You know, get through the holidays, let him enjoy some family time. And it obviously was great to see him out with us. You know, it's been a while since I saw James, so it was kind of nice to catch up for a little bit.
He got a new job. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he's with FluxJet, so kind of talked about that for a little while. He's super excited. I think we're all excited to see where that platform goes. You know, I think they're on to something. So it's good to see James kind of work into that job. You know, it's something he's completely passionate about. And I think most of us would be super stoked to have a job like that. And if we can make that, you know, take off, that would be awesome. So,
yeah, when they hit 50 miles an hour, I'll buy one. Imagine a kayak going 50.
Thanks, Moo Moo. Good to see you
Moo Moo.
too, buddy. Yeah. And thanks for coming on and watching. We're going to kind of, Johnny, obviously I'm going to kind of want to talk to you kind of going forward here.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to kind of put together, obviously we're not going to have much going on kayak wise, but I think it would be nice to bring on some other competitors who, you know, do pretty well, even middle of the pack guys, you know, or guys that are just out enjoying their time. You know, it'd be kind of good to hear from them and their perspective of tournament fishing. So anyways, we'll talk to you guys. I don't have anything yet for next week, but I'll work on something and we'll kind of go from there. Joey, have a good rest of your week. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Jen.
Yeah. And
one more thing.
Yeah.
Our sponsors.
Yeah, Johnny, take it.
You want me to do
Heck
it again?
yeah.
Okay, so Biano batteries. So great battery, 10-year,
20-year warranty. 20-year warranty, guys.
Yes. So capital TEN, you'll get 10% off.
Yep, capital TEN. And they're all assembled in Southern California. So,
which is great, yeah. And obviously Headwaters Adventures. There'll be just that one store open in Rancho Cordova.
Yep. Yeah, it's been open for about a year and a half. So, and guys, Brian and just posted a Jackson Coosa. That kayak's normally $2,500. It is on sale right now for $2,000. I mean, it's a no maintenance drive. The drive is super smooth. And I think it's about a 500-pound capacity, if I'm right, for the Coosa. Guys, there's, I think, only one left for that one. And if you're looking for a kayak, it's a great platform. Totally can be fitted with motor up front, motor in the rear. And I mean, I've kind of eyed that kayak. I kind of told the wife it would be nice to get another one for her. So, but anyways, go for it, Johnny. Sorry.
And then P-Line. If you haven't tried P-Line Tactical, that's what I was using this weekend. Never broke off a fish. And I tell you what, those fish surged and surged and surged. And I was happy I didn't break anything off. So good knot, check your knot, and it's a great line. I was using 8-pound test and never broke off. And then first gen, so you get 10% off. What do you use? Anglers RX.
Anglers RX 10.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's
10% off.
It's about time that time of season, the jaw dropper is going to be crushing it here pretty soon. And obviously, you should already be. Joey, have you used the jaw dropper yet on any of your strolling?
I haven't, but I know a handful of people that use it, and they love it to get that darting action.
Yeah, it actually, it wobbles.
It darts.
It wobbles.
It kind of darts.
Yeah. So I saw Damien was using a 7-inch Sakamata shad and rolling it and darting it. So definitely a versatile jig head.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and they have buzz baits, they have spinner baits,
introvert, extrovert. I mean,
so,
buzz baits. Buzz baits.
Yeah,
come across the top perfect. Yeah,
they have a lot of tackle. You got to check that out. Yeah.
They also got a mini chatterbait, and then the
copper.
The mini copper, and then the regular size copper. So
I'm going to be throwing that this weekend at Clear Lake.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it sounds like an LV, rattles like an LV, but it's a chatterbait.
Yep.
So I'm going to put a Zanko trailer on the back of it and yo-yo it around, see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, you two, I got to go out and if I'm going to be able to get out on the water, and before my bedtime, I need to get some things taken care of to go tomorrow. So
yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll try our best.
Congratulations.
Yeah, of course.
You too, John.
We'll try to get something scrapped together for next week. And John, I'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, we'll talk about the Yamamoto tournament next week. Hopefully.
Oh, you know what? There you go, man. We'll try to reach out and get to. I'm on. Yeah. I only had one day off in the last 9 days, so I'm looking forward.
Week after that is the TOC at Eastman with CVKF.
Yeah, so there we go. We'll reach out to the guys. So
yeah.
Or ladies.
You could also have Isaiah on too.
Yeah, we could get Isaiah on for Isaiah Y.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, then you had AOI for BAM.
Yeah, I did.
So we could have both you guys on and have you guys talk about your year.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'd be open to that for sure.
Yeah.
There's 3 weeks. 3 weeks there.
There we go. All right. Well, we'll see how it pans out, Yamamoto, and we'll go from there. So,
all right, guys. Thanks for watching.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of the week.